Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, that's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That makes me the co-host with the most from the coast with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, happy Monday Fun Day, Monday Gun Day to you.
Monday Fun Day, Gun Day. How was one's weekend?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. I actually, I don't know what to say. I think I may have embraced the Gay Pride Month. I put conditioner in my hair, so now it feels all weird. So
get that Pride Month. Remember, we are not celebrating Gay Pride. We're celebrating Gray Pride.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you go. Okay, I feel better now.
Get off my lawn.
Sure if I was supposed to go yell at people or they come yell at me. I wasn't ready to recall. So
yeah, I pretty much wound up doing some yard work. Went to got to judge a chili cook-off, which was interesting. Yeah, one of the chilies though, I have to say, it had no meat and no beans, and I'm like, this is soup.
Yeah, spaghetti sauce. Yeah, spaghetti.
I was like, where's the meat and the beans? How do you have a chili with no meat and beans?
It's vegan. Yeah, well.
And then one was made with ground turkey. I mean, come on now, really? I mean, only in California, right?
Yeah, did it have any of those alfalfa sprouts in it also?
No, it did not. Anyway, having said that, there was some excellent chili that did wind up winning. It wasn't, neither one of those wound up winning, but I had a very good time.
Anything light your fire? Anything burning hot?
No, nothing incredibly spicy. I prefer my stuff a little, my chili to be a little spicy, not burn your mouth hot, but I like it to have a little kick to it.
I like a little kick. I'm not looking for heat without flavor. I like a little heat with the flavor though. So
yeah, there you go. Just a little heat with the flavor as opposed to a little flavor with the heat.
There you go. Absolutely right. Yep.
All right, hey, let's get into the program. But before we do, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can buy your AR rifle barrels direct from them. You get rifle length, pistol length, whatever caliber you want. Get on over to hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Make sure you check out California's 6th congressional district race as well. Hog Holsters, HAWGholsters.com. That's HAWGholsters.com for the best ultimate concealment tactical holsters on the market. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps, to get yourself a nice little discount on that product there. And if you want the best field gear, going to the woods gear, going hiking gear you could get, check out our friends at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Visit them by following the links in the description to this program. Check them out, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent ya. Also, if you haven't already done so, please make sure, like, share, subscribe. Encourage your friends to do the same. We don't care how you partake, whether you listen to us, wherever you listen to your podcast, or you watch us, wherever you watch your stuff online. But whatever you do, just watch and partake. Do it now. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's news. The first story here is out. Now, we already talked about last week. We talked about the fact that, the indictment has come out, right? So we know that President Trump has been indicted on 37 counts. The interesting thing about it is that, how do I put this? If you listen to the legal experts, right, the legal experts will tell you that there is a definite case to be made that Trump violated the law. Now, the comparison, though, that they're making, it has a lot to do with, for example, what Hillary Clinton, because he basically did exactly what Hillary Clinton did. The difference is a Democrat administration opted not to prosecute Hillary Clinton, and now you have a Democrat, and now you have a Democrat administration opting not to prosecute. By the way, you also had a Republican administration in the Trump administration opt not to prosecute Hillary Clinton. But now you've got a Democrat administration opting to go after or to prosecute a Republican. Now, there are a number of different folks, but this was the guy that everyone was really kind of quoting or going off of over the weekend, and that was Mr. Bill Barr, the former Attorney General for President Trump. And here's what he had to say about the indictment.
It started out under the Presidential Records Act and the archives trying to retrieve documents that Trump had no right to have. But it quickly became clear that what the government was really worried about were these classified and very sensitive documents. I was shocked by the degree of sensitivity of these documents and how many there were, frankly. And so the government's agenda was to get those, protect those documents and get them out. And I think it was perfectly appropriate to do that. It was the right thing to do. And I think the counts under the Espionage Act that he willfully retained those documents are solid counts. Now, I do think we have to wait and see what the defense says and what proves to be true. But I do think that even half what Andy McCarthy said, which is if even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment. And it's very, very damning. And this idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous. Yes, he's been a victim in the past. Yes, his adversaries have obsessively pursued him with phony claims. And I've been at his side defending against them when he is a victim. But this is much different. He's not a victim here. He was totally wrong that he had the right to have those documents. Those documents are among the most...
So when I actually had a chance to actually read the indictment, and I will tell you, if half, and I agree with him, if half of what they say in the indictment is true, it's going to be very, very tough. Now, all that having been said, the legal analysis has been made basically that's the reason why it's been different is they literally have him on tape saying that, okay, I've got these, they have him on tape. I have these I have these documents. I know they're classified, and I know that I by the way, I haven't declassified them. It's not a pretty case against the president. Now, all that having been said, it's still almost identical to what Hillary Clinton did, and they opted not to prosecute Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, correct. But you know what? As much as I agree with you there, that doesn't have bearing on this case. You know, that may be in a sentencing phase kind of thing, but on whether to bring the case or not, it's not. The facts of what she did do not apply to the facts of what he alleged to do, right? Just whether or not they're biased or not, and which we know they are, right? And I have had a chance to read through it also. I am not alarmed as much as former Attorney General Barr is, or even you are, Craig. The president is the ultimate classifying and declassifying authority when it comes to documents. If somebody brought a case of documents to his office, all he had to do was the whole, I hereby decertify these are no longer classified. Whether it was right or wrong, and that's something Bill Barr did talk about there. He said it was wrong to do so or wrong to have those documents. Whether it was right or wrong to do so, he alone has the authority, the ultimate authority to classify and declassify documents. So
yeah,
let's say
Mike,
let's say it's nuclear. Hold on,
Mike. They have him on tape saying he did not declassify them.
If it's yeah, right. And again, it's you got a one piece of one tape talking about what?
The tape, he's talking to his the other issues are in terms of the obstruction of justice, where he was basically telling his attorneys. He basically told his attorneys to destroy evidence, to destroy documents so that he could say he didn't have them.
And sorry, Craig, but I don't go with
once again, all of this is on tape.
He basically told would be hearsay. That's not what I heard him say. Unless you're hearing the totality of the tape from start to finish, beginning to end, then as far as I'm concerned, everything could be placed out of context.
And you are 100% correct. And that is why before I even started, I said, if what they're alleging is true, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough haul for the president. That's what I'm saying. Right. If that evidence holds up under cross-examination, it's going to be a tough one for him to fight.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue for him. I think this is gone as quick as the last one.
I hope it is. I honestly hope it is. But there have been people who've been critics of his. Jonathan Turley is a great example, who's been highly critical of the president. Who are like, and they basically there have been people who've been supportive of the president, who are like, everyone acknowledges that the case brought by AG Bragg is a bad case. It sets horrible precedent. There's no real legal argument for it, right? I think a lot of people are looking at what the Georgia case, and they're taking solid issue with that. But even those people are like, yeah, this one's going to be a tough one for him to argue.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of an issue. I really don't. I think. Listen, you just saw the current president having things in the trunk of his car. You saw what Hillary Clinton did. Even Mike Pence had documents in his facility. This is this kind of thing. You get to take 50,000 pieces of paper home with you to make your own library, and they found 31 pieces that were wrong out of 50,000 or 100,000. Hey, again, I get to say what's classified and what's not classified. Get out of my
right. I don't disagree with you, but once again, the prosecution is claiming to have, in his own words, him saying, these are serious classified documents. I have not declassified them.
Right.
Once again, I would love to hear the context as well. You're 100% correct. I'd like to hear how he argues the context.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah, because the next words could have been, I hereby declassify them, and it was over.
No, because by then he was not president anymore, so therefore he could not declassify them, since he was no longer president at the time of those recordings.
So you can verify the date and location of the recordings, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that evidently they believe they can verify the date and the place of the recordings. I'm just, once again, I'm going to go back to, if what they're saying is true, if they can verify this evidence.
So we're third and fourth hand testimony now. I got it. Okay. That's why I got no issue with it.
That's okay, man. I understand. You're in denial, but that's okay. I still think the case never should have been brought because they already set a legal precedent when it came to, once again, Hillary Clinton. And what I'm saying, the facts of the case are very, very similar. They had classified information. They knew they had classified information. When they might have gotten caught with the classified information, they attempted to destroy the classified information. That's the bulk of the charges. And in both cases, that's kind of the core of the argument against them. And I'm like, in one case, Democrats decide to let a Democrat go. Republican decided to let a Democrat go. And now you have Democrats charging and going after a Republican. That's not a legal argument. I get it. But it's definitely a political one.
Yeah, and there's some critical differences here. I know they're very similar also. The president, again, being the ultimate classifying authority, can declassify and classify anytime he wants. Hillary Clinton was a Secretary of State. She found out they did these things after she was no longer Secretary of State. There was active evidence that she destroyed things after she was gone, and she was no longer Secretary of State. Sorry, I lost my phone. And then Mike Pence, he had documents that were over in his library over there. But you know what? He had a secure facility where they were. Same as the president did down at Mar-a-Lago. It was, remember, White House South, which meant it had certain security provisions installed in it. The President Biden's garage with his Corvette, not so much. Not a legitimate storage facility for classified documents. So there are similarities, and there are also grave differences as well, which make it good for President Trump.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. Once again, I think the other problem, the reason why people have such a hard time accepting this as legitimate, is because every other case before this has been proven to be literally proven to be a witch hunt, right? It's literally proven. They've all been proven that They were all politically motivated. They were all based on the idea that they were trying to quote unquote get Trump. And
Right.
you know, why you cry wolf a million
that's the key
times.
reason.
And then quite frankly, over this, it was literally, and I don't know why Donald Trump decided to keep stuff that he really didn't need to keep. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is him deciding he wanted to keep stuff and he felt that he had the right to keep it. And some of the stuff they're talking about is once again, it wasn't just, you know, miscellaneous. Oh, okay, I got a thing signed by Kim Jong-un. It was, you know, serious documents is what they're claiming.
No, I understand, you know, but it's, you know what? Ultimate classifying authority and declassifying authority.
Yeah,
You know,
but
whether it was right or wrong,
that
he had
doesn't
permission to have
extend to when you're an ex-president. It's only while you're president. And the tape, once again, they're saying they got it. They got it. Well, the timing of it makes sense. He wasn't president anymore. Right. He didn't get to declassify it after he's no longer president.
So you were there for the declassifying and you were there for the interviews.
All I know is that they're saying they got him on tape, basically saying he's got documents that he knows are classified, and he never declassified. What are we talking
about? So you're believing what the left is telling you now, and you're ready to.
I am telling you that if what they say, if they can prove it, if the evidence proves that, it's going to be tough for the president to fight it.
Right. And if we believe what they tell us, you and I are the greatest threats to this country, and we should be labeled as domestic terrorists because we take part in
you're in denial now, Mike. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I understand just how improbable it is that Donald Trump would say something stupid.
No, he wouldn't say it, Craig. He would tweet it. Let's be clear. It would be in writing if he did it. All right.
Excellent point. And I think we browbeat this. I think we beat this horse enough. Anyway, more to come on this story.
Here's why I'm never worried about this, Craig. We know that somewhere around 48 to 49% of the country approve of anything he does and everything he does. So now I want you to go find any jury in the world that has no Trump-based supporters on it.
It's actually closer to 39%. 39% literally, if he shot someone, he could stand in Broadway and shoot somebody, and they wouldn't convict him. So yeah, it's about 39%.
Yeah, well, 49% supporters and 39%, true hardcore base.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, right. And like you could go in and go, listen. In fact, folks, what we're going to do is actually have Donald Trump do it again, so you could see him do it, and they would still go, not guilty. It wasn't him.
Like we have him shoot somebody.
Yeah, no, it wasn't him.
Okay, wasn't him. Wasn't me. Maybe it wasn't you. Oh, all right. Moving on to our next story. Talk about people being guilty. Well, now that we've got the FBI informant has now come out. Now we've got some more information regarding that case. Here we go. GOP lawmakers have now had a chance to, behind closed doors, speak to and interview this informant. And the FBI informant actually is confirming that Joe Biden is the big guy. That's right. Here it says, as Republican lawmakers confirmed, President Joe Biden is the so-called big guy, an alias that whistleblower Tony Bobulinski originally revealed as Joe Biden from his dealings between the Bidens and a Chinese entity. Last week, Republican members of the House Oversight Committee reviewed an FBI informant file. Their review concluded that the FBI informant file indicated that Ukrainian oligarch Mykola Zhukalinsky, the owner of Ukrainian energy company Burisma, referred to Joe Biden as the big guy. In this document, the confidential human informant absolutely also specified he understood that the big guy to be Joe Biden. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Republican, Florida, told Fox News. Now, the interesting thing, Mike, about this whole thing is that is just another tie of the president to not just the Ukrainians, but to the Chinese, as well as I believe to the Russians. Because once again, all of these conversations about money and accounts and all of that, when they talk about the big guy was clearly getting paid.
You know, I now that they've been able to identify who the big guy is, Craig, I think it just goes to show you the prowess of the FBI investigative skill, that it only took them 5 years to figure out that Joe Biden was the big guy when his son was talking about the big guy. Oh, the vice president of the United States, my father, the big guy. It only took them 5 years to figure out that Joe was the big guy. So hats off to you, boys. That's real law enforcement work. You should be proud of yourselves.
Well, Mike, what gets me about it is it's not so much that they didn't know. Honestly, what it's about is that they were covering it up. And they were covering it up because they did not want.
Yeah,
see,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Donald Trump held them
accountable.
accountable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He didn't just swallow the Kool-Aid. And what's frustrating about this is, I get that they didn't like him, but it's not your job to be messing with elections. And that's, by the way, exactly what the FBI did. They basically played a role and put their finger on the scale in the 2020 election in order to make sure he did not, in order to make it. Well, they tried in the 2016. Then they turned around and they actually were successful in the 2020 election.
So you're saying they lied and cheated to get what they wanted?
Yes.
So they'd never do anything like leave documents behind in somebody else's office or anything, would they?
No, not saying they wouldn't, but I'm saying all I'm saying is I would love to see. I'm looking forward to seeing Donald Trump's defense strategy.
His defense strategy is reasonable doubt. That's my threshold. You just told me about an agency that lied twice to get me from keeping office. Sounds like they might do something like this as well.
Who knows? Maybe that tape is maybe that audio recording is a deep fake.
Yeah, it's a chat GPT.
Yeah, there you go. It's an AI created audio tape.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm looking forward to seeing what Donald Trump has to say about it. That's all. I'm hoping he's not using the same legal team that he used when it came to the election. They were not that good.
I'd get the dream team, Johnny Cochran and Bob Kardashian, and get all those guys together. So
isn't Johnny Cochran dead?
Listen, semantics. Who cares?
Semantics.
Details.
I'm sure there's an AI version of Johnny Cochran out there that they can pull out.
This would be the perfect defense, Your Honor. You can't prosecute me. My attorney's dead. All right, you're right, sir. Go ahead. You're on your way. Be on your way.
Oh, very funny, very funny, very funny.
He'd get Jackie Childs then instead of Johnny Cochran. Jackie Childs from Seinfeld.
All right, Mike, believe it or not, Texas has actually gone more pro-gun. I know, hard to believe. I will tell you, I will say that one of the best things that happened to Governor Abbott was actually having our good friend Colonel Allen West run against him, because he made Abbott move to the right. And Abbott has not retreated from that on a number of issues, including whether it's the border, whether it's the whole, indoctrination of our kids, as well as on the gun issue. So there are a couple of bills that actually Governor Abbott has signed that go further to help protect and defend the right to keep and bear arms there in the state of Texas. The first one is House Bill 2837, which prohibits financial institutions and credit card companies from requiring licensed dealers to use a firearm-specific merchant code to categorize retail gun purchases rather than using a general merchandise retailer code or sporting goods retailer code. And this is important because eventually what they want to do is they want to be able to weed out people who buy guns and make it so you can't use your credit cards to buy guns, or they want to track your gun purchases. Now, another bill that he wound up signing was House Bill 3137. This expands the state's firearm preemption law to prohibit municipalities or counties from requiring firearm owners to obtain liability insurance, preventing such costly California-style local regulations. Now, the funny part about this is, Mike, is that so far they've been less than successful in implementing this law in California because they can't find anyone to offer the insurance.
Correct. So that's the big problem, right? And we've seen that in states in the Northeast as well. throw the insurance companies out, and then say we're going to require you to have insurance, and there's no insurance company there to offer the insurance. Even if there was, there's no such thing as gun owner insurance, right? Why do I have to lie? Why do I have to protect myself against potentially using my firearm legally? I don't understand that. If you want to use your firearm illegally, the insurance wouldn't apply. So it just, well, anyway. Yeah, this is great, Craig. When you say things like, the state of Texas just got more pro-gun, I get excited because right now, if you go to Texas and you pull up to the border and the DPS there says, "How you doing? Are you a U.S. citizen?" And you're like, "Yes," and they give you a gun. They're like, "Here you go. You're coming into Texas. Here's a gun." And
here's a gun.
And when you said they're more, you said they're more pro-gun now. I was like, now I can see the guy going, "Here's your gun," but wait, here's your other gun. Like here's you got two hands, don't you? Here's your second gun.
Here's your suppressor.
That's it. Would you like a pistol, revolver, or shotgun? Okay, all three. Here you go.
Gotta love Texas, folks. Gotta love Texas.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then finally, now we've talked about the positives there of Texas. Now let's now get into the negatives of California. So in California, there is a bill that is it's now been amended. The bill's already passed the Senate, but this bill would basically you'd be accused of child abuse if you refuse to acknowledge your child's desired gender preference. In other words, if you use their wrong pronouns, a proposed California bill would brand parents abusive if they refuse to affirm their transgender child's identity and let local social workers take youngsters into care. Basically, they could take your kids away from you. Here it is. This is from the Daily Mail. A proposed amendment to a California bill would classify parents who refuse to affirm their child's gender as abusive and could result in revoked custody. AB 957, proposed by Democratic Assemblymember Lori Wilson and State Senator Scott Wiener, that's the one who wanted to make it so that, having oral sex with a minor was not a serious crime, amends the state family code, which addresses the health, safety, and welfare of the child in every home. If it passes, the law could see children pulled from their parents' home if their family members have what the state deems anti-LGBTQ ideals, which basically means if you are in a Christian home, you will lose your children.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous, right? Let me get this straight. I have my own kid. My own kid says, "Mommy, I want to be known as they." And Mommy says, "Get your butt up to your room and do your homework, little Johnny." And then little Johnny complains to the teachers, "My mommy won't call me they." They're saying they're going to give the right to social workers to come take the kid out of the home because the kid's being abused because mommy, daddy won't call them they or whatever they're insisting on. Well, this is I'll tell you what, I want the people, the social workers, the good social workers. Everyone, listen, social workers it's a tough job, right? You got to deal with the downside of everything. I just want those social workers in California to know if you show up to somebody's house to take their kids over these, be prepared to be shot in the face. I mean, it's probably going to happen to you.
I will tell you that we're not advocating that, but I am saying, I will say this. There are many people that if you decide you are going to go after their kids, they will do whatever they deem necessary in order to protect their children, and that may include violence.
Listen, you're talking about the conservative parents, right? They're the ones that are going to object to this. They're
Right.
also the ones that are Second Amendment supporters and have probably fortified their house and to protect their family and their children from any tyranny from the government. And I got to tell you, come try and take my kid from the house. That's worth than trying to take my guns from my house.
Yeah. No, once again, this is the ultimate of we are the state. We know what is best for your children. We are the government. We will tell you how to raise your children. If we don't want them doing this stuff in schools, we definitely don't want them doing this stuff in our own homes. No, I'm sorry. You don't get to do that. If this bill, they'll put it to you this way, this bill would definitely be deemed unconstitutional. One is, because there's going to be a lawsuit. If this thing is ever signed into law, and Governor Gavin Mussolini, because he wants to take your kids and groom them, he would definitely be in support of this idea. So he's going to sign it if it gets to his desk.
Listen, a guy just proposed the 28th Amendment to the Constitution, saying we're going to respect the Second Amendment, except we want to take everybody's guns from them. He doesn't get it at all. He does not understand how law works. He does not understand how it works. So he's got to go.
He has very little understanding of law or desire to know or understand the law. Yeah. To be frank with you.
Yeah, he knows tyranny, fascism, and dictatorships. That's what he knows.
I still remember the time, and I said this before the Assembly Public Safety Committee. I was like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to ignore the facts. You're going to ignore logic. You're going to ignore the will and the rights of the people, because that's exactly what tyrants do.
That's right. That's right.
And they're just proving me right once again.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
On that note, we're going to move on to our parting shots, brought to you by Hog Holsters. Get your Hog Holster at hogholster.com. Remember, use the discount code The Rundown right up there. All caps, no spaces, one word. Use the discount code The Rundown and get your discount today. All right, our first parting shot. In this day and age, in this day and era, we were just talking about what is child abuse, right? Well, in today's era, child abuse is what is above, where you've got a mother yelling at her child or sternly disciplining him after for whatever reason, with the kid yelling back. I just don't see that ever happening. And then at the bottom, you've got me after talking back to my mom in 1985, and it's got Rocky, which in what appears to be going into the 15th round of his fight with Apollo Creed.
Yep, exactly. I think the top picture, Craig, is actually the mom not using the proper pronoun.
She is probably not using the proper pronoun. You are 100% correct.
It's child abuse in California. Mm-hmm. Child abuse in California. Yeah.
Now our next one, Mike. Now we are celebrating Pride Month, right?
Yes.
And as a celebration of Pride Month, we'd like to just share this video to go to show anyone can come out of the closet and show pride.
I'm so glad you guys are doing this.
Oh, yeah.
For dogs. My dog came out of the closet recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
His dog came out of the closet, Mike.
Yeah, I guess that means he doesn't lick himself anymore, right?
I guess that means he doesn't lick himself anymore. Now, okay, here's another one. Now, this video you're going to love because, by every poll and every understanding, racism now is much greater and a much bigger part of people's lives and media and all of that than it was when you and I were growing up as kids, right? I mean, this is how tolerant it was when we were kids.
Yes.
Carlos, the world is so much more racist and divided than it was when we were kids.
We got to celebrate our differences. Ooga booga doo, ooga booga doo. We got to celebrate our differences. Nacho taco, chimichurri.
Okay, never mind.
I remember that cartoon, Craig. Now I think they might have done a little voiceover with the taco chimichanga part, but I remember those commercials. I remember those jingles. Celebrate our differences. I remember those.
Yes, I know. So do I. But the cartoon, just the cartoons alone, even if you didn't have the lyrics,
right? Yeah,
the cartoons alone are enough to say, yeah, maybe we weren't. Maybe things were a little bit more racist then than they are now.
It's like going through Small World at Disney World. You're like, oh, look, that's what we think a Chinese person looks like. Oh, look, that's what we think a German person looks like. It was the same way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, this final one was, as we all know, President Biden is seeking to expand hate, right? And the hate that he wants is of people who are conservative. People who believe that individuals with uteruses are women and individuals with prostates are men. And, that's kind of how it's supposed to be. They are what he refers to as ultra MAGA. People who believe that
Right. Yeah.
you deserve to keep your money as opposed to the government taking and spending your money. Yeah, they're ultra MAGA. People who
That's
believe
that
we should be
hardcore base. That's that
energy
39%.
independent or ultra MAGA. Well, you know, he meant that, Mike, as an insult, right?
Yeah.
But sounds to me like a compliment in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that 39%. That's the hardcore. That's that base right there. You know what? And he just gave them a new name and they're profiting off of it. So good for him. Good for
Exactly.
them.
So in
Ultra
other
MAGA.
words, you're against the idea of being ultra making America great again.
Yep.
Mike,
Wunderbar.
I do not get their logic, but that seems to be what they want to push. So let them push it.
Hey, maybe this can of spinach will take down President Trump. Let's throw it at him.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right, Mike, I think it's about that time for us today. So why don't you do me a favor and go ahead and give that shout out to our sponsors?
Let's do it. HitmanIndustries.net, HitmanIndustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels, you don't even know it. Now you can buy direct from them for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's HitmanIndustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can part in California's future today. Don't forget to check out California's 6th congressional district run as well. And uscombatgear.com for all the field gear you need, web gear, hiking gear, whatever it might be, uscombatgear.com.
Once again, folks, please take a moment, visit our sponsors. Their links are in the description to this program. Check them out, spend some money with them. Tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. And with that, we're going to call it a day. We appreciate you tuning in. This is just the first in the week, folks. So we got a lot more to talk about this week. So we'll see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Y'all take care.